chance, but you gotta win it. Oh, and she's watching while her whole world turns to nothing. And she's on her own when she feels colder, 'cause there's no real home without you. Oh, if I saw you in this moment, I'd give you all the time, but I'll call you when I'm done singing songs for the night. I started a fire that I can't burn out. I'm higher and I can't come down. Desire is taking control of me. I started a fire that I can't burn out. I'm higher and I can't come down. Desire is taking control of me. And it's so wrong that I bleed her heart for so long. And I wish I could be the one who stayed, but I'll be chasing stars till I'm gone. Whoa. So I'll keep you in a photograph through the darkest of the times, as I leave you with a broken smile that'll never leave my eyes. I started a fire that I can't burn out. I'm higher and I can't come down. Desire is taking control of me. I started a fire that I can't burn out. I'm higher and I can't come down. Desire is taking control of me. That I can't burn out. I'm higher and I can't come down. Desire is taking control over me. I started a fire that I can't burn out. I'm higher and I can't come down.
Hello and welcome along to Virtual Varsity 2020, a Cricket 19 simulation brought to you by the Googly. Well, what a game we've got in store for you here at the Sean Evans Arena this afternoon. Huddersfield take on a star-studded Bradford 11, bidding to retain the prestigious Varsity title. It all comes down to the cricket, a sport in which Huddersfield have never tasted victory since they reformed. So, will the men in blue have what it takes to bring home the silverware? I'm delighted to say I'm joined by HUCC skipper Jack Whittam to preview the game and talk through some team selections. So Jack, thanks for coming on. How have the lads been feeling in the run-up to this huge game today?
The lads have been preparing well for this game over the last 2 months now.
Yep, just talk us a little bit through your team selection today.
Yeah, we had the option to play Hamza Kamoze as an extra pace bowler, but we decided to play Ben Newton as an extra spinner to try and maintain some control in the middle overs. We've also brought Tommy Newton as wicket keeper, who passed the fitness test yesterday. Joe Alsop unfortunately misses out for us because of that.
And so what was the reason behind Joe also missing out on injury, a fitness test, yeah?
Yeah, so the fitness test, so Tommy Newton passed it late last night, so we brought him straight back in and hopefully he can bring his experience in.
Yeah, do you think...
It's unfortunate on Joe Alsop really, but Thomas proved over the last 2 years that he's capable.
Yeah, quite a spin-heavy team in your side. What sort of impact do you think that will have against Bradford, who notably played spin quite well the last couple of varsities?
Yeah, well, we had a look at the pitch and we thought we can try and control the pace of the game in the middle overs, and that'll be key for us. Obviously with Josh and Harry up at the top of the order, and then spinners hopefully doing the job in the middle overs.
Well, thanks for that, Jack. Thanks for the build-up. Good luck in the rest of the game, and we'll move on to the toss in a few minutes.
Cheers, thank you.
So first ball just minutes away here at the Sean Evans Arena as we see Huddersfield Chickens taking on the Bradford Tigers. It should be the Jaguars. Neither of those do we have. Huddersfield's horrendous blue and yellow kit against Bradford in the red and black. We'll take a look at the teams then. Calvin Bandy, his first varsity appearance. Many should say it should be his second or his third. Should have been picked in first year, but he was snubbed at the last minute. So Calvin Bandy opens with skipper Jack Whittam, who we've just heard from. Jacob Miller in at 3, a fresher this year. Josh Pickup at 4. Tom O'Newton returns from injury that he's been injured the whole season, but he returns for this huge game and keeps wicket at number 5. Harry Horsley in at 6, an opening bowler. Sahej Gabadia at 7. Ben Newton, the surprise pick over the extra pace bowler at 8. Josh Lees at 9. Ethan Gangotra, nobody like him, nobody better, not even Colin Munro. And Ian Curtis at 11. We look at Bradford, a star-studded lineup. Gareth Gates opening with James Tavernier. 3, Martin Atkinson. 4, Dynamo the Magician. 5, David Hockney, Zayn Malik, Anita Rani, Fabian Delph, Tim Booth, Kimberly Walsh, and bringing up the rear, Kiki D. It promises to be a brilliant game here at the Sean Evans Arena. I can't stress that much, the Sean Evans Arena, and what a fixture we've got in store for you. Be sure to keep up to date with everything that's going on Twitter, following the Hud Uni CC Twitter page, and as well us on official Googly. So we've got a 10 over game here for your entertainment. Varsity on the line. Huddersfield looking to claim, well, a fourth varsity victory back-to-back. The coronavirus has won more varsities than Bradford in the last 4 years.
He's on fire. Fantastic performance.
Oh, what a leap. Takes a superb catch. What a win. That's done it. The whole team running over to celebrate.
So yes, here we are, a T10 from the Sean Evans Arena. Huddersfield finally getting the wish, taking on Bradford outside, albeit in a simulated game. Run through the teams once more for you. Calvin Bandy, Jack Whittam, Jacob Miller, Josh Pickup, Tom O'Newton, Harry Horsley, Sahej Gabadia, Ben Newton, Josh Lees, Ethan Gangotra and Ian Curtis. For Bradford, it's Gareth Gates, James Tavernier, Martin Atkinson, Dynamo, David Hockney, Zayn Malik, Anita Rani, Fabian Delph, Tim Booth, Kimberly Walsh and Kiki D. And I think we've got time to go down for the toss now with captains Jack Whittam and Gareth Gates. So Bradford call. Bradford won the toss for the 3rd time in a row, actually, in all the simulations I've been doing today. Bradford have won the toss. Will they bowl? Oh, they've chosen to bat this time. So Huddersfield going to be bowling first in this T10 game at the Sean Evans Arena. Thanks for all the fans in the chats. We see you, Joss, Shauno, Tomo, Siddhartha bat first. Yeah, well, Bradford are batting first. Huddersfield will be taking the ball. Josh Lees, I think, to take the new ball. So yeah, it's Josh Lees of Manchester City, Varvel, Woodhouse's fame. The first ball to Gareth Gates. Whipped away but nicely fielded. Steady start for Josh Lees. Josh Lees spotting an interesting back of the shirt. Richard Lenori in again to Gareth Gates. Goes short, beats the edge of the bat and taken nicely by Tom O'Newton. Well bowled, beautifully bowled from Josh Lees. Important that Bradford get off to a decent start here. A couple early runs would be nice in this opening over for them. As Lees in again, seems to be loving that shortish length. Hits Gates right in the groin.
Swing and a miss.
3 balls, 3 dots. Josh Lees clocking in at 91 miles an hour there as well. Perfect start for Huddersfield at Varsity, but they won't be getting carried away. The last 3 years they've enjoyed perfect starts, and it's been let slip by some interesting captaincy by Dan Senior, yours truly. Let it slip, not been enough pressure on the throat. Josh Lee's doing really well here. 4 dot balls to start off the innings. Bradford yet to get off the mark. Gareth Gates, is he crumbling under the pressure? Say it isn't so, Gareth. Come on. And he's got one away. And it's been dropped. I think that's by Ian Curtis. It's been dropped in the deep. Josh Lees robbed of his first wicket. See the replay again. Josh Lees again banging in that hard length into this pitch. Gareth Gates swivels on that front foot. It's dropped. Oh, it's shocking. Absolute clangers. So now James Tavernier comes on strike. A dolly dropped by Ian Curtis. Lee should be 1 for none. Instead, he's none for one, but still a very good start for Huddersfield. A very offside-heavy field, and Josh has lost his line.
Punched away.
Pulled away by James Tavernier, the left-handed Tavernier, and that's going to be the first boundary of the day. So 5 for none after the first over. Bradford will be much happier at the end of that over. Harry Horsley coming into the attack. Been a very impressive addition to this Huddersfield University side in the last 2 years. In a ball straight, and that's been flicked, and that's gone many a mile.
Tremendous.
That is out of here from Gareth Gates. The pop idol runner-up 35-year-old has smashed it into the stands. Have a look at that. Harry Horsley, not the ideal start for the Yorkshireman. So how will Horsley respond? Bradford 11 for none after 1.1 overs. A good start from Josh Lees, but Horsley has been dispatched. And dispatched again. Smashed for 4 now through the leg side by Gareth Gates.
Solid shot.
Gareth Gates is getting into his work now. A 6 and a 4 off Harry Horsley. We must say we did ask for a real Bradford team, but we had no correspondence from the Jaguars, so I had to pick our very own select 11. Gareth Gates is the captain of that ship. So Harry Horsley, where does he go now? 2 leg side balls. He's got a very offside heavy field. He should be dragging it back over to the offside now. And he does, and that's much better. Tom O'Newton takes it wonderfully. Maybe Jack Whittam would be looking to remove this first slip if Gareth Gates continues. It's not a first slip, it's more of a gully, but if Gareth Gates continues in this hitting manner off Harry Horsley. And again, short again, and it's on the leg side. He's strayed over. His line has not been tight yet. And it's a slow chase from number 20, Ben Newton. The business school cafe himself.
Good work in the field there.
Eventually gets round and throws it back on the bounce. So the YouTube chat screaming at Harry Horsley to drag his line across, but now it's a left-hander, so if he stays where he was, he's probably alright. An interesting field set by Jack Whittam, but it works. Stops on the edge of the ring, no run. To the millions watching around the world on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. You're watching Huddersfield take on Bradford in virtual Varsity 2020 as Harry Horsley hits James Tavernier in the midriff, and it's a good finish to the over, but that 6 and the 4 early on will have hurt Huddersfield.
How to give the ball an almighty tweak. Let's see how they go.
So Jack Whittam, perhaps surprisingly, ringing the early changes. Josh Lees maybe being saved for an over or 2. I know, well, 1 over towards the end. Hedge, brilliant volley from Gabardia.
He misread that.
Gareth Gates playing for the spin. It's just gone straight on. Must be one of those little arm balls that Hedge was bowling the whole of Varsity last year. Oh, an inside edge from Gareth Gates onto the pad. Picked up nicely by the man still at gully. Jack Whittam insisting that Huddersfield are attacking from the very start. He said spin was going to play an important role. They've got an extra couple in Ben Newton. That's, again, not convincing. Gareth Gates can't play the spinning ball. I must say that every single one of these Huddersfield players is identical. They're just all a different height. Something different from Gates.
Plays and misses.
Quick work from Tom Newton behind the stumps, but he's missed the wickets. Should that have been a first wicket? Hedge should have had Gareth Gates stump, but Tom O'Newton, quick hands. Couldn't take the bails off. Hedge, a brilliant start. 4 dot balls in a row. Gareth Gates has no answer to it. Just punches one down the ground. Picked up nicely by whoever that is. Honestly, they're all the same. I can't tell who anyone is. So Hedge, just the 1 off his 5. If he can get out of this over, it'd be very impressive start for Huddersfield. But again, he's been whipped away. Is that going to find a man in the deep? It's not picked out at the stands. Strong finish to the over for James Tavernier and this Bradford Jaguars 11, but a decent start nonetheless from Hedge Gabardia.
Curtis. The pace bowler is coming into the attack from the north end.
So Ian Curtis, all 7'3" of the towering figure. The South's version of Billy Stanley steams in and floats it up at 70 miles an hour, and that's going to run away for 4. No, it's a brilliant stop on the boundary. Just going to be 2, restricted nicely by Josh Lees in the deep.
And 2 runs added.
So again, Jack Whittam ringing the early changes, not letting the Bradford batsmen settle against his Huddersfield bowlers, keeping them guessing. 1 over apiece for Josh Lees. Harry Horsley, perhaps unsurprisingly, taken out of the attack. Slip has gone, as Ross Kettlewell has just pointed out. So perhaps
Another
Jack
run
Whittam has
taken.
realised the importance of protecting these boundaries that are killing Huddersfield off at the end of every over. Gareth Gates 18 off 16, Tavernier 10 off 4, the danger man not really getting much of the strike at the moment. Ian Curtis 3 off his 2 balls so far. Steams in, floats up a half tracker at 67 miles an hour, and a dot ball. Oh, whipped away, but he's just hit the top of the thigh pad. No appeal, because Curtis is so tall. The ball is obviously going over the top of the stumps. Proving difficult to get away on this pitch is Ian Curtis. Not too dissimilar to Tom O'Newton against Eddie last year in Varsity at Huddersfield. And that's an inside edge, but there's no carry, and Tom O'Newton just takes it on the 1 bounce. Another dot from Ian Curtis, proving very valuable these overs at the start. Sporting curtains on the back, number 19. Ian Curtis, if he can get out of this over without a boundary, Huddersfield will be delighted. It's into the deep. And it's taken! The first wicket of this virtual Varsity 2020 goes to the unlikeliest of men, Ian Curtis. Hot dogs and popcorn and pint of rhubarb all celebrating in the middle for the lads. A half volley in truth, whipped away. Brilliant field placing by Jack Whittam to put his men in the deep. Nicely taken over the top of his head, well judged. And Huddersfield have their first wicket. It's Jacob Miller in the deep as James Tavernier is gone for 10. Right back in football, right back to the pavilion in Virtual Varsity 2020. Now Martin Atkinson, the 48-year-old, comes to the crease with an average of 6. Ethan Gangotra, so a 5th new bowler now for Huddersfield. It will be the Premier League referee on strike, as Ethan Gangotra comes in and is whipped over the top for 4. This might not be a masterstroke from the captain. With Josh Lees, Harry Horsley, obviously Ian Curtis just bowled to Hedge, bowled a nice first over. Even Ben Newton's got overs. To bring Gangotra on is controversial. So Martin Atkinson already seeing it nicely against Huddersfield in their blue and yellow. Atkinson, of course, knows all about yellows. 4 off 1. Gangotra needs to get back into the over here. And he reverse sweeps.
Edged. What a ball.
Atkinson taking no time to look around. Familiar with his surroundings and happy to tee off after 2 balls. Oh, and is that a drop from Tom Newton? I think it might be. Was there a little edge on that? Let's just have a look. Ooh, not sure. Let's have a look when it comes past. Here we go. Well, I think it's harsh on Tom. I think he's done a decent job there. Keeping like his predecessor, Daniel Senior, last year in Varsity, dropped a couple, and that might be one. That is going to be a wicket. Tom Newton leapt in front of Gully, nabbed it off the man, nabbed it off 10 disco dear Jack Whittam. And we were saying Ethan Gangotra might have been an interesting choice of bowler, but he's got another breakthrough. Huddersfield, the happier of the 2 teams here. Martin Atkinson now goes for 4 off 4. It's Huddersfield in the ascendancy, 32 for 2, nearly 5 overs gone. So Dynamo the Magician comes to the field. Stephen Frayne, seeing is believing. Huddersfield have got Bradford 32 for 2 in this Varsity fixture. And it's another dot ball. So after going for 4 off his first ball, it's been a brilliant comeback by Ethan Gangotra. There really is Nobody better. Not even Colin Munro. That's short. It's going to be angled in to the offside for one. Nicely picked up by Josh Lees.
Nice bowling in that one.
So Bradford 33 for 2 at the halfway stage. Huddersfield will be very confident, but again, I said before, they won't be getting carried away. They've tasted success early on in varsity games and then bottled it towards the end with a couple of late innings, and that's not a great ball from Ian Curtis. It's been brilliant, whipped away. Magic from Dynamo, whipping that away through the leg side for 4, half volley length onto the back foot somehow and pulled it away. Look at that, agricultural, that Brian Lara in his prime. So Dynamo, absolute magic, whipped away. Ian Curtis with it all to do now. It's the outside edge, nicely stopped by Whittam at Gully. Brilliant beard on the man there. On Dynamo again, I should say that there is no resemblance to these people. Very interesting field going on from Huddersfield, and that's a big shout from Ian Curtis. It's got to be gone. Dynamo trapped in front, surely. Oh well.
Umpire totally
There's going to be a discussion here between the bowling group and Ian Curtis. They're not going to review it. Well, that looked mighty close.
Nice shot.
Nicely played through the offside. This scramble one just about makes his ground. So Curtis in again, and he misses the ball.
Misread that one. Couldn't get the drive away.
.5 overs gone. It's Bradford 38 for 2 here at the Sean Evans Arena in this varsity fixture, and that's whipped away for 6.
Hard and fast.
Ethan Gangotra to continue here. And that's gone. Dynamo vanishing out on the stump. Dynamo gone back to the pavilion. Brilliant from Ethan Gangotra. So Dynamo disappears back to the pavilion. David Hockney out now into the middle. Gangotra beautifully smashed over the top by Hockney, wasting no time. That's straight into the stands. 6 runs to Hockney. If anyone's wondering why I sound a little bit short of breath, it's because I've just smashed a pint of juice all over my desk. But the show must go on. So Gangotra, 2 for 11, the star performer so far for this Huddersfield side. But now he's been whipped away over the leg side. That's another 6 to David Hockney. Gangotra really needs to get his act together. This a good start to the over, but just letting it slip now. David Hockney right into his work, the Bradford wicketkeeper. 2 6s in quick succession. Gangotra now, and Hockney goes over the top of the offside. Leans back and crashes it over the top of the offside. Brilliant shot from the painter. Now, how do Huddersfield respond? A wicket from the first ball of the over, but 16 from the next 3. That's how they respond. Gangotra millimetres away from taking the leg stump of David Hockney. But Hockney responds by going over the top of the offside again, and that's a poor end to the over. So as a brilliant start with 1 wicket, but 20 coming from the remaining 5 balls.
Cat, the pace bowler, is coming.
Huddersfield now playing catch-up. You would imagine they had Bradford in their pockets, but 64 off 7 overs, that's really hurt them. It's going to be Harry Horsley to return. Starts for the Yorker, but there's no man out there. Whitton perhaps needs to think about his field here. Harry Horsley has shown a tendency to stray with his line throughout this fixture so far, even in his short spell. So plenty of questions now for Huddersfield and their skipper Whitton. Field change has been brought in, but surprisingly it's been brought in with another man on the offside on the edge of the circle. So if Horsley strays leg side, which he has again, fortunate this time, he's just going to go for 1. Picks up left-handed. So Gareth Gates 29 off 20. David Hockney, the danger man, 20 off 5. I'm still cleaning up my room from the pint of juice. Oh, he's hit it down the ground and Horsley's dropped it. Was that a chance? It seems like he has dropped it. We'll see the replay here. Could that be costly? David Hockney looking in inspired form for the Bradford side. It's a tough chance, but Horsley will expect himself to take that. So he'll be very, very disappointed about that. But Horsley, none for 18 off his 1.3. In again and bowls, and over the top of the infielder at mid-off, and that's another 4. Bradford now rallying. David Hockney, the surprise star player. Yorker length, but picked up beautifully. How does Horsley respond? 22 off his 1.4. Oh, that's how he responds. A beautiful Yorker. Well taken by Tomo. Some late swing there. Nicely taken by Tomo Newton. Horsley to finish his spell now. Goes short. And it's taken. Huddersfield have their 4th.
Good reactions.
Horsley eventually gets the danger man, David Hockney. Wheels away in celebration. Another short ball. Seems to be a real plan for Huddersfield, or it's just a lack of control. But Harry Horsley is the man who takes the important wicket of David Hockney. Take me a picture of that, David.
Malik is the new batter at the non-strikers end.
So Zayn Malik comes to the crease with 2 overs remaining here. 27-year-old X-Factor and One Direction star, and it's going to be Josh Lees to return. Gareth Gates still there at the top of the order. He's gone straight up. Has he got enough legs? I think it might do.
The bowler won't like
Smashed
that
into the side screen, and that's 6. Tough return to the attack for Josh Lees. Now real problems for Huddersfield. They won't want this target to get any further above 100. This is what has happened the last 3 varsities in a row. They've started well, and Bradford have fought back towards the end. Lees again into Gareth Gates, goes short, pulled across the right side, and what a brilliant catch that is at short mid-wicket.
Easy catch.
Again, the short ball pays out for Huddersfield. A timely wicket. Gareth Gates, it could have happened to any one of us. A stupid mistake. But it's on that long and winding road now, back up to the pavilion for the Bradford captain. 35 from 22, strike rate of 159.1. Say it isn't so, Gareth. So the new man, Anita, or the new woman I should say, the Anita Rani. Who do you think you are? Strictly Fame as well. Nicely whipped away. Picked up on the edge of the circle by Ben Newton.
Off the mark.
The mid-on specialist.
Starting as he intends to proceed.
Malik is about to face their first ball.
So Zayn Malik faces up to Josh Lees. Bradford 80 for 5, 9 balls in the innings remaining. Lees goes short and it just moves off the seam away from Malik's outside edge. Taken nicely by Tomo Newton. Just done a little bit too much from Josh Lees. Oh, and that's been inside edged onto the pad and it's flown up in the air. Somebody who gets round to it. Just the one.
And they go through for one.
A nice comeback from Josh Lees after going for 6 at the start of the over. And Itarani back on strike. 2 new batsmen at this time is just what Huddersfield would have wanted. But Lees, for some reason, goes short on leg side and that's whipped away by Itarani. Pulled straight to the fence for 4. And again, it's those ends to the overs which are really, really hurting. So who will it be to bowl the last over of the innings? Lees bowled out, Horsley bowled out, Gangotra's bowled out, I think Curtis has bowled out, so it's going to be the big ship, Sahej Gabadia coming back into the attack. 7 runs, Huddersfield will take 7 off this final over. Sahej definitely bowling back foot no balls there and whipped away. Punched over the offside, 4 runs, Zayn Malik getting the better of Sahej Gabadia. He's still got time, Zayn Malik, to make an impact on this game. Still got time. So Ben Newton gone unbowled in this innings. Brought in specially by captain Jack Whittam and not used. Perhaps that extra pace option would have been a decent option. And Gabadia again smashed through the offside by Zayn Malik. Malik is on flames, you could say. The one direction man. Needs some pillow talk for later, and this is certainly going to be a good story. If you can win Bradford, the Bradford 11, this Varsity clash. I've just about cleaned up all the mess of my spilled pint, if in case anyone was wondering. That's gone straight up. I think it might have the legs. This is an abysmal final over from Sahej Gabadia. 4-4-4 at the start of the 10th. And we're back and we're concentrating. Juice everywhere. So 97 for 5. They're going to get over 100 now, you would imagine, but middle stump is gone. And my controller's disconnected. Never mind.
Bold.
Middle stump gone.
Finds the edge.
Big appeal there. What a delivery. The batsman chops it onto his own stumps.
So Malik gone, chops on off Sahej Gabadia. 2 balls to go in the innings. Yes, Will Lang into a whole new world indeed. I don't want to live forever. I don't want to bat forever either, Zayn. So Fabian Delph in for the final 2 balls of the innings. Bradford 6 down, looking to get just over 100, a competitive score. And it's whipped away. That's a ridiculous shot from Fabian Delph.
He's showing intent already. First ball faced, and he smashes it for 6.
The utility man, left back, midfielder, pinch hitter in the middle order. Fabian Delph can do it all. Leeds, Villa, City, Everton, England.
Huge excitement here. Where will this one go?
Gabadia 18 off this last over so far. Can he get out of the over and give Huddersfield something to bowl at? And what a grab that is.
Yes.
Oh, ridiculous.
What a catch.
An absolute stunner at mid-wicket. One-handed, diving away to his left. I couldn't tell you who it is. Let's see the replay. Definitely Sahej Gabadia. And definitely, well, we're not going to see. It was Ian Curtis of all men. The 7'3" monster at mid-wicket. Diving away to his left. Takes the all-important catch. And Bradford restricted to 103 for 6. Or 7, should I say. Off the 20 overs.
They have a good total to defend here.
So here's the highlights, the innings highlights. David Hockney played a brilliant knock. Where's your money? Particularly those 6s back-to-back really hurt Huddersfield. Off Gangotra after that wicket at the start of the over. So there is the scorecard. Gareth Gates 35, bowled by Josh Lees, caught by Ethan Gangotra. James Tavernier 10, off Ian Curtis with the key wicket there, a simple catch for Jacob Miller. Ethan Gangotra had 2 then, he had Martin Atkinson and Dynamo, one caught by Tomo.
For the batsman. Let's see
Harry Horsley to hedge with the other 3 wickets between them. So it's going to be Calvin Bandy, like I said before, making his varsity debut. Probably should have been in the side way back in 2017, but missed out. Some interesting selections. It's going to open up against Kiki D, the rapid left arm of Kiki D. And that's a nice start by Calvin Bandy, whipped away into the leg side. Is the fielder going to get there? No, a brilliant start for Huddersfield. Calvin Bandy proving the selectors wrong. A perfect start to the innings. The boys in blue. Kiki D in again and nicely whipped away by Calvin Bandy. Just stopped on the edge of the circle. So for Bradford, Kiki D is their hope in this world. They'll be hoping that she is super cool. Bowling to this opening pair of Calvin Bandy and Jack Whittam. Yep. Not quite perfect timing, but it's brilliantly smashed away by Calvin Bandy. Kiki D, another 4. The 73-year-old taking a bit of... Oh, I can't. The 73-year-old taking a bit of tap. Sporting a beard and a nice ginger hair now. Again, interesting line, definitely pitched outside. I'm not sure what they're appealing for. 90.6 miles an hour though clocked.
Shake of the head from the umpire.
Kiki D there.
One from the bowler as well.
Impressive pace. Very impressive pace from Pauline Matthews. And again short, and that's caught. Oh, Kiki D. Calvin Bandy is nicked off, taken by the keeper, David Hockney, and Huddersfield have lost the first wicket unless they stupidly review. Well, an uphill battle now, they've lost a man early. Nice take from David Hockney. Kiki D, don't go breaking my heart. Well, she's breaking Huddersfield hearts. Calvin Bandy gone at the end of the first over. 1 ball to come. Not much Calvin could do about that. Now, how will Jacob Miller settle into his first varsity experience? 96 from 55, the equation there at the bottom of your screens. Starts with a short ball, that better sit down. It does, just the 1. So it's going to be Jacob Miller to keep strike.
Reasonably good over there.
So skipper Jack Whittam yet to face a ball after the first over. Now, who's going to be brought into the attack? It's Fabian Delph, so he finished the innings nicely.
See how they go.
Finished the innings nicely. Can he start it nicely with some part-time tweakers? Sporting a blonde mullet now as well. Fabian Delph. Jacob Miller on strike. Smashed over the top of the offside. Perfect start for Huddersfield. Putting the pressure back on the bowler. James Taylor stepping up Jacob Miller. All 5'1" of him. How does Fabian Delph come back from that? The away fans. A good voice. Miller sensibly down the ground for 1. 60-mile-an-hour tweakers from Fabian Delph. So it's going to be skipper Jack Whittam for his first involvement of the day after losing the toss. Highest score of 49 not out so far in this T10 format today. And Huddersfield are going to need a 49 from Jack Whittam here. Oh, and no, that's straight and that's out. That is plumb. Jack Whittam has not come to the party when it mattered most. He's gone to Fabian Delph. Huddersfield in all sorts of bother.
He's a key player in this batting lineup, but he's out first ball. That's a big wicket.
Happens to the best of us. So it's just pick up. Now into the attack. to face up to Fabian Delph. 1 for 5 off 3 balls. Pick up, back and over the top of the offside. The right-hander seems to be the way to go here. Miller and Pick up both started with the same.
Nice shot.
The two tiny men at the crease for Huddersfield. The weight of the world, the whole of Varsity on their shoulders. Delphin again now round the wicket. Oh, and dangerously back from Josh Pickup. Just managed to dig it out. Fabian Delph to finish his first over, Bradford's second. It's short. Oh, and Pickup really should be finding the gap.
And keeps it tight.
It's a freebie, but Delph has got away with it, and so have Bradford. So all to do here for the boys in blue. Kiki, do you love me? Carrying on for her second, so she's going to bowl out straight away. And that's whipped away through the leg side by Jacob Miller. 10 off 4 now for the diminutive Huddersfield figure. Small figure of a man, but he's playing a brilliant, massive innings here for his side. Huddersfield will need plenty of those. We saw in the first innings all it took was one big over. 20 off the bowling of Ethan Gangotra. And Bradford were way ahead of the rate. Nicely driven. Stopped on the edge of the circle though by Dynamo. Well, Tim Booth very happy with his side's performance so far there. The hopes of Huddersfield resting on the arms of Jacob Miller and Josh Pickup. That's going to bounce just short again. Another one to the Huddersfield total. Just need to keep up with this run rate here. Just about 10 and over. That's a beautiful shot. Swivel on the front foot. Josh Pickup, fantastic. Like a prime Dynamo the Magician in the first innings. Pickup pulls it away through the leg side. 4 more to the total for Huddersfield. So Kiki D 1 for 18 off 1.4 overs. Just Pickup just getting into his work. So too Jacob Miller. That's the wrong line to be bowling. Whips away nicely. Just picked up on the edge of the circle. 1 more to the total. Huddersfield 28 for 2. 1 ball to come in this, the third over. Boundary to finish this will go very nicely for the visitors. Despite the fact we're at the Sean Evans Arena. And it's a dot ball to finish. So
another really good over there.
Kiki D bowling at 91.3 miles an hour, finishes with figures of 1 for 19 off her 2. And you'd imagine we're going to have a change in the bowling unless Fabian Delph is going to bowl out as well. Now Fabian Delph is going to bowl out, so Bradford using up their strike bowlers early up, sneaking through another over of off spin.
That's 4.
And Josh Pickup isn't having any of it. Smashed over the top of the offside. I think a field change might be needed for this Bradford side. 3 times now that Fabian Delph, bless him, has been smashed over the top of the offside by Pickup and Miller. Not sure they're the reverse sweeping types. You can probably get rid of. There's 4 men there behind square, and nobody on the boundary. So Pickup can just carry on his merry way here. Oh, it's just been stopped. That was nearly another 4. So a change in the field now and a change in the side that Fabian Delph is bowling. But he's given pick up some width and he's missed it. That was a freebie. That needs to be dispatched to the boundary if Huddersfield are going to chase down this total. 72 required. 6.5 overs remaining. Probably at a similar stage to where Bradford were, and that's smashed away. 6 runs from Josh Pickup. Huge into the leg side. Over fine leg. And the controller stopped again. Smashed over the leg side for 6 by Josh Pickup. More like Josh Butler at this rate. Huddersfield motoring now. Another boundary in this over, and they'll fancy the chances of a first cricket varsity win since their reformation. Not sure aware of the history before that, but certainly since I was at uni, they never had any success. And that's another 4. Save your legs, Josh Pickup. You little dancer. Playing the gem of an innings. One for the White Rose. Marching on together is Josh Pickup with Jacob Miller. Huddersfield motoring towards the total if they can continue this rate. Suddenly looks a lot better now for the away side. Well, it's nicely swept, but it's just found a fielder either side of the man. 2 yards either side. There's a 4 there again for Josh Pickup, but you can't fault him so far. 23 off 11.
From the south end.
So it's going to be Kimberly Walsh now to try and put Huddersfield in a spin. But no such luck because Jacob Miller has whipped it over the leg side. A 6 off the first ball of Kimberly Walsh's spell. Something kind of, untouchable Jacob Miller and Josh Pickup at this moment. Brilliant partnership between the two boys here. And again, is that going to go for 4? It is. Jacob Miller, absolutely fantastic. 21 off 9. He moves to. Bradford are falling slowly now. Falling slowly away. Huddersfield cruising. Jack Whittam back in the pavilion, but he'll be saying, I'll stand by you, to Jacob Miller and Josh Pickup if they can win this game. Key to the town. They'll be partying Rhubarb. They'll be partying in Malachi's. In the kebab shop, in Camel, absolutely everywhere. Streets of Huddersfield. Bradford rattled, perhaps. Kimberly Walsh. Looking slightly like Chuck Norris. 10 off the first 3, and that's an inventive shot. But no purchase for Jacob Miller. Huddersfield now find themselves ahead of the 8 ball. I think the next over was the time when Gangosha was smashed to all parts for Bradford. But Huddersfield playing nicely again, but 2 dot balls are just slowing things up. There might even be 3 in a row. There's a boundary here to finish the over. Would be nice for Huddersfield in the blue and yellow. At least it's going to be a single. So Miller is going to keep the strike. Expensive first over for Kimberly Walsh in that over.
The right
not untouchable.
coming into the attack from
and now on comes Tim Booth. Obviously of James, and a big shout out to James Lawler. Somewhere in the Far East at the moment, is the big man of Huddersfield University Cricket Club, missing out on the big day. As far as I can see, a big role here for Tim Booth. And so far he's doing that role brilliantly. 2 dot balls to start the over. Jacob Miller just getting a little bit bogged down after taking apart Kimberly Walsh in that last over. I believe, that's what they'll be saying. I believe Bradford in Tim Booth. And they should believe. That's an edge from Jacob Miller. They've no answer to these 65 mile an hour dibbly-dobblies from Tim Booth. This will be a story for the grandkids, a story for the Christmas meal next year if Huddersfield can get home in this varsity fixture. But Tim Booth is bowling brilliantly here. So Huddersfield were well ahead 6 balls ago, but now they're just falling apart a little bit. Tim Booth bowling slowly but getting away with it. Jacob Miller needs to get himself out here. He's got no answer. A maiden in the middle of a T10 fixture, surely not. Tim Booth just bowling hopeless little floaters. Jacob Miller needs to go and have a sit down. There we go. It is away and he's caught. Maybe the best thing that could have happened for Huddersfield there. Miller just soaked up, I think, 8 balls it was there without scoring really. Since the 6 and the 4 at the start of... Well, he scored 1, didn't he? But since the 6 and the 4 at the start, Kimberly Walsh was over. And now they've got it all to do. They were flying, Huddersfield. Great grab. from Martin Atkinson there at cover. So Miller gone for 22 off 19. Huddersfield just in the mud a little bit here. Thomas Newton comes to the crease, miraculously recovered from an almost year-long injury here to face up to his arch nemesis Anita Rani. 51 needed from 4 overs, a huge gap on the right hand side. Nicely played away by Newton for 1. He won't push for 2. That one for running.
Good shot.
So destination Strugsville for Huddersfield at the moment. All the pressure on the shoulders of Joss Pickup. That's nicely guided through the offside. It might go all the way for 4. It is. Brilliant shot from Joss Pickup. Punching on the back foot. Looking like Ian Bell in the prime of his life here is Joss Pickup. Fantastic shape. A little bit of Joe Root in that back foot punch as well. So Joss Pickup with it all to do. How much will Huddersfield fancy themselves leaving off the last couple of overs? They need to go big here, and that's a swing and a miss from Pickup.
Where that was going.
The shot's there over the offside. That's the way to go. Oh, and Joss, what have you done? An absolute jaffer from Anita Rani. Oh, look at the movement on that. The seam movement is absolutely diabolical. Off stump, gone. Valiant effort from Joss Pickup. But Huddersfield falling away. It's happening again. Get themselves in a good position and falling away with the bat. I should say that Huddersfield won both of the simulations before this. Now Horsley can't get bat on ball.
The bowler beating them all ends up there.
Anita Rani, and again a brilliant over from her. Edged by Horsley, just falls short of keeper David Hockney. So 58 for 4 Huddersfield. Need 46 from 18. It was all looking rosy at the halfway stage. They were 52 for 4 with 30 balls remaining. Thomas Newton now can't lay bat on ball.
Not able to connect there.
These slow medium paces of Anita Rani and Tim Booth really troubling the Huddersfield batsmen. Nicely played away from Newton. Just going to be 1. I should say that this is a best of 3. It's a 10 over game first and then a 5 over game followed by a super over. So it's not the end of the world if Huddersfield do go 1-0 down. The Varsity committee just thought, you know, that would be the best way to, the fairest way to determine the best team. A couple of different disciplines, 10 over, a 5 over, and Huddersfield certainly struggling at the 10 over format anyway. Nicely played away from Horsley. Huddersfield need a couple more of those. So if you're still with us, thanks for tuning into Virtual Varsity 2020. This is the first of 3 games, if Huddersfield lose, of Virtual Varsity 2020 between Huddersfield and Bradford. Harry Horsley leaving the ball, but it's going to be a wide.
Well wide.
Tim Booth, an absolute gem here. But Horsley has slapped him away off the last ball of the over for a 6. Huddersfield back into it perhaps. So Tim Booth goes for just 12 from his 2 overs. Getting away with it, Bradford. All on the shoulders now of Thomas Newton against Anita Rani. Big gaps on the leg side.
Along the ground.
She's happy to play back foot punches. Maybe a little bit out of Nick Thomas Newton at this point in time. Left the ball and it's going to be a wide. So 33 needed from 11 now. Big boundaries required for Huddersfield.
Wide called.
Stranger things have happened. Not in my lifetime at uni. We'd usually be smashed by this point. Thomas Newton misses it again, so that looks like it could be nearly game up now for Huddersfield in the first of these 3 fixtures. Should we need the third one as a decider. The 5-over fixture coming up next, so stick around. Thomas Newton, not aware of the situation, batted for a little red inker. Field changed, no need, because Thomas Newton's just going to keep picking out the man at cover. And now he's heard the abuse from the YouTube chat and he's smashed it over the top of the offside, but it's probably not going to be enough. Lovely shot from Newton. Only took him 7 balls to play that. Huddersfield falling away from the middle overs here. They were cruising, but that's a beautiful shot from Thomas Newton. 6 into the stands. Pick that out, Anita Rani. Couple of verbals from Thomas Newton towards Rani as well. Could this be an inspired innings from Thomas Newton, playing the MS Dhoni role, taking a long time to get in? Could he be about to snatch victory from the jaws of defeat for Huddersfield? 81 for 4. Need a 6 to finish off this over to have any chance. And are they going to get it? I think it might fall short. No, it's gone into the stands again. It's another 6. Thomas Newton might have played this brilliantly. 4-6-6 at the end of the 9th over off Anita Rani. He knows how to time a chase, does Thomas Newton. Shades of Sheffield 2's away at Leeds.
Handed the ball for this final over.
So it's going to be Kimberly Walsh to Harry Horsley
so
here.
Into the final over of the innings, going to bring out some more of the
Could we be on for a super over here? 16 would get a super over for Huddersfield. And that might be away for 6. It is away for 6. Harry Horsley smashed it over the leg side. The equation now almost in Huddersfield's favour. 11 off 5. Kimberly Walsh, aka Chuck Norris, cannot believe it. Correspondence in my ear that the 3-match series might not be needed should Huddersfield win this. Horsley's got to go again. Oh, and he edges it. Just the one. So Thomas Newton now to face up to the left arm spin of the left arm tweakers of Kimberly Walsh. 10 off 4. Oh, it's killing me. This is killing everybody in the stadium. If Thomas can make some room over the offside or down the ground. Oh, it's huge. It's a massive 6. Thomas Newton, you little dancer.
Big hit over the rope for 6.
MS Dhoni in disguise. Smashed over the leg side. 6 into Rosed. Thomas Newton, who'd have thunk it? The man who's been sidelined with almost every illness and injury you can imagine for the last year. A remarkable comeback. Surely they can't throw this away now. 4 from 3. Again, 3 forces a super over should we need it. Thomas Newton goes over the offside and Huddersfield have won. Remarkable scenes. Huddersfield have won the Virtual Varsity 2020. No need for 3 games. Panic over. Don't know what anyone was worried about. Varsity truly, well and truly alive because of one cricketer. And that cricketer for Huddersfield in 2020 is Thomas Newton. 4 crashed over the offside. What a remarkable victory. Hands on head moment for the Bradford Jaguar side. And Huddersfield cannot believe it. Look at those limbs. Fantastic trophy.
Superb game of cricket, and hopefully you at home enjoyed it all.
What a win.
Thanks for joining
Inspired pick from the skipper Jack Whittam to bring in Thomas Newton. It looked like he was batting himself into a hole, but to finish 28 not out from 11, absolutely remarkable. Huddersfield Virtual Varsity winners 2020 by 6 wickets, chasing down 103 with just a couple of balls left, and that is a ridiculous day of cricket. Man of the match, Tom Newton, rightly so. It didn't look like he was going to be at one point. So just to run you through the scores again, Bradford 103 for 7, and I'm delighted to say we're actually joined by Tom Newton after that ridiculous innings. Tomo, well played.
Cheers, boys.
How good was that? What were you thinking when you were taking that deep? Because there was a little bit of worry amongst the camp, I think.
Nah, there's no panic whatsoever. I know what I'm doing, lads.
A prime Dhoni you've just been compared to. What do you think of that comparison?
Well, I wouldn't like to say, but got to get a measure of the pitch and then go from there.
Yeah, brilliant innings, Tomo. There's a pint waiting in rhubarb and a bowl of chips for you. Turn the boiler on, get down the M1, go home and have a bath. So a fantastic game here. Bradford beaten by Huddersfield in the last over, taken deep. A day to forget for Jack Whittam, but a day to remember in the end. Captained his side, the first varsity winning captain in Huddersfield history in cricket. And Huddersfield have won Virtual Varsity 2020. That's all from me. Thanks for watching. We've been the Googly. Keep safe in this shambles of a time, and any more Virtual Varsities we want to have, feel free to ask.